May 22nd, 2011, 5 years ago, was a very, very bad day in Joplin. And we're going to take a little bit of the meteorology. How did the weather set up? Well, we had a low pressure area in South Dakota, and there was a cold front right through Omaha and near Kansas City into Oklahoma, a warm front off to the north, and then a dry line down to the south. Here's Joplin down here. So we had a warm, humid air mass from the Gulf of Mexico. We had a hot, dry air mass coming in out of Oklahoma and a cooler, drier air mass coming in out of Kansas, all intersecting in southeast Kansas and southwest Missouri. And also you had a jet stream moving from west to east above all of this. So you had convergence at the surface of all these air masses, and the winds were coming in from the southeast at the low levels, while at the upper levels they were going in from the west and southwest. So you had shear turning of the winds with height, and everything was there for thunderstorm development, and that's where we had some of these supercells form. And when they formed, it was so humid, they became very big thunderstorms, began to rotate, and unfortunately one of those produced a very large tornado right over Joplin. But now it wasn't just Joplin on that day that got hit. It was a whole severe weather outbreak from eastern Oklahoma all the way up into the Great Lakes. There were 75 tornado reports, 359 reports of hail, 409 reports of wind, for a total of 843 reports of severe weather. There was even some severe weather in our area in Lafayette County. There was a couple smaller tornadoes on the eastern part of our viewing area, and then it moved off to the east. So quite an active day 5 years ago. Here's a look at the satellite picture from that. Here's Kansas City, Joplin's here. See these bumps in the clouds? These are this whole white area is the anvil of the thunderstorms, but the bumps, those are called overshooting tops. That's where the top of the thunderstorm shoots above the anvil into the lower part of the stratosphere. That means there's some intense rising motion, and you can see in southeast Kansas there were some, and even in central Missouri, and then these moved right in to the Joplin area. The radar, very impressive. When you see a radar image like this, a very dangerous signature, the hook. See the red? Here's Joplin. There's a hook, and the reason why there's a hook, the rain is wrapping around the thunderstorm, and the tornado is usually right in there, unfortunately, right over the city of Joplin as this thing was continuing to move east. A very impressive signature on radar. And the track, this is where it was an EF5 right through the middle part of the city, north of 32nd Street and south of Duquesne there, right through the city. It was in the evening. People were out. Just absolutely horrific. Let's hope nothing like this ever happens again in a city, because that is just horrible. The Joplin tornado facts: 1 mile wide, 200-mile-per-hour winds at its strongest. It was on the ground for 38 minutes, 161 deaths, over 1,000 injuries, and 7,000 homes destroyed. And there is a picture of the tornado. A very violent day in Joplin and in southwest Missouri. And this is tornado season, so just keep in mind the peak for our area is April and May. It's been quiet so far, but in the next week to 10 days, as we go into early June, it's going to be active, so we'll have to keep an eye to the sky. On average, there are 68 tornadoes in Kansas and Missouri. That's 1 tornado per day on average. So have a plan in place. Know how to get warnings when they're issued. Stay safe. Stay with 41 Action News, and we will keep you advised.